Bullshit
Bullshit
is a raw and real podcast where we tackle life's challenges with real stories. That's right, they're all real. Advice, wait for it, and expert insight.
Whoa.
You like that? That's what suspense,
That's
people.
suspense. So are we really going to get
Suspense.
expert insights, or is that just a bullshit?
It's all true.
It is.
It's all-
Hi, everybody. I'm Adam, Coach Adam.
I'm
Dawn.
and I'm C.
Talk at the same time.
I'm not Coach C.
And we're back. We're back. We're wearing different outfits.
Yes, we are.
And what are we talking about today?
Bullshit struggles of mental health in today's world.
Wow.
And what does that look like?
That looks like a lot.
What
Yeah.
does it feel like?
And more importantly,
Yeah.
And perhaps, what does it smell like?
it smells pretty shitty.
It does. Boom. But it's every day.
It is.
All around.
I mean, the struggles are every day.
So real.
Yeah.
And I was telling Adam, and everybody can experience a little mental health. If you don't have someone in your family that's experienced mental health,
I'm sure every
someone
family.
you know. I think so too. I didn't really want to say everybody, but yeah, everybody has experienced a little mental health in their family. I'm a little cray-cray my damn self, so.
I mean,
I
so
know
is Adam. But,
Yeah, I definitely know that.
Nope.
Yeah, he cray.
100%.
Cray-cray.
I have a photo to prove it. He said, even himself, that could I look more like the Joker? No.
No.
And there is a photo of him, and he said,
side
"Oh, but
by
they
side?
said no." Actually, I said no. You don't look like. And he said yes with green hair.
So you know what we got to do one episode?
I'm gonna flash that photo on an episode.
I want a picture of Adam, and I want a picture of the Joker.
We're in the same. Yes, and you'll see it
And-
side by side.
Yes, and we're going to ask the viewers,
Does he?
Does
Could
he?
he look more like the?
Oh,
Joker?
that's a good question.
could he play the Joker in the next movie?
Oh, I think so. Who do we got up on the show today? Who's the guest?
We have,
Guests, plural.
Guests.
but we're going to go with Penina first. Penina is a working mom from New Jersey who understands the importance of mental health. She has suffered with anxiety for years and knows the struggle of dealing with insurance. Girl,
Oh yeah.
that girl,
Insurance is always fun.
Yeah. You know, if I can just say, I saw something on Instagram talking about anxiety. So anxiety is no joke.
Yeah.
No joke for those who have experienced it firsthand. I saw something on Instagram that I thought was a really impactful way of sort of demonstrating for people who maybe don't know what it's like to experience anxiety. And I'll be curious to see what our guest thinks about this. But basically this woman, and she is somebody who suffers from anxiety herself, she had a full glass of water and she had it on the edge of a table and she just kept bringing it more and more to the edge. So it was just balancing, and then she let go, and then she would hit the table a couple times, and just watching that. Anyway, I thought that was
wow.
Interesting
really nice
experiment.
way of just kind of showing as opposed to telling.
Right. Got a visual for that.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
You know, you'd be surprised. It means everything. And when you think about just the day-to-day, and I'm just going to say the day-to-day bullshit, but, you know, it's just dealing in life. Every day when you deal in life, it could be just family, friends, job, relationship, I don't have no hope, dreams, whatever. And all of that, you know, impounded on an individual, you're bound to explode in one day.
Oh yeah.
One area, something's going to happen, you know, and how do we control it?
Right. I know. Even sometimes there's temporary anxiety. I mean, like there's, you know,
You just need to
situations
just
in
lay
which,
down or have a shot of tequila. Okay.
okay, we can always do that. That'll calm our anxiety.
So should we call him Penina now?
I think so.
Let's.
Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
Hello, welcome.
Penina, how are you?
I am good on this windy and dark all of a sudden day.
Oh yeah, it did change.
I know, I'm looking out at the window to see.
But you're good. You're laughing. So it's a good day.
It's a good day.
Yes, it is.
Every day is a good day.
Yes,
You
it
wake
is.
up, right?
Yes,
Right.
it is. Yes, it is.
Waking up is important.
It's funny. I just wrote something down just thinking about it. It says, hope is praying for rain, but faith is bringing an umbrella.
Yeah,
Yep.
Oh,
that's
Yep.
a good one.
I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I felt that was right at the time because you're feeling good. You have a little bit of anxiety, but you know what? Today is a good day.
Yeah.
Today is a good day.
So tell us a little bit about what you're experiencing with mental health and insurance.
So there are a lot of insurance companies out there that they're starting to get better, but it's still, you've got people out there who have to pay like a $7,000 deductible before they can even get a copay or a co-insurance just for mental health. And these are people that really need it, who really can't afford it.
Right.
So then what happens to these people? Now, I am going to share that I have contacted when I couldn't have insurance for a while. I didn't have it. I couldn't afford it. And even the marketplace was going to charge me an arm and a leg.
Yep.
So I was off of insurance, and I wasn't able to see a therapist because without insurance, you have to pay anywhere from $130 to be over $200, depending on the type of service you need.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And so I contacted that hotline because it was really bad. I had a really, really bad thing happening, and I went very dark, and I contacted by text the hotline they have for that.
Oh, wow. And how was that experience?
That experience was horrific.
Oh.
It made it worse.
Oh my God. Gave you more anxiety.
It made it worse.
Yeah. More anxiety because you can't even get through.
Like, it felt like you were talking to a robot. There was no compassion. And I know over text it can be hard.
Right.
But it really, like, you can tell, like, if I'm texting a friend, I know that it's them writing back.
Yes.
This was just like a script.
Oh, that doesn't help.
Oh, I'm so sorry. First of all, I'm so sorry you had that experience. That's really shitty.
And my daughter, I have an 11-year-old, and I just, thank God, found her an amazing therapist that takes her insurance.
That's good.
Wonderful.
But,
yay.
But finding a therapist to see a child, can I tell you how hard that was?
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't
had that same
find
problem.
one. Now, mine's not on the spectrum, but if you have one, if you have a child, or if you're an adult and you're on the spectrum, neurodivergent, it's almost impossible to find a therapist.
Can you, for those that don't really know a little bit of what that's about, I know Adam does, and even myself, I'm a little vague. I can't say.
Yes, I'm an ADHD coach, by the way, so I have some familiarity with neurodivergence.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm ADHD. That I am.
Okay, so I think it would be good for the people to know what that is.
Absolutely.
Well, ADHD is attention deficit hyperactive disorder.
Okay.
And basically, I grew up in the 90s, like the late 80s, early 90s. And back then, ADHD, if you were diagnosed with any sort of neurodivergency, you were in trouble. You were in trouble. There was, growing up, I was always meant to feel like I was stupid. And I hate that word. Like my daughter's not allowed to use that word.
Good for you.
Good. Yeah.
Because I can't. That word is like, I had a guidance counselor tell me that I was stupid and never going to be made into anything.
Can you
when I was
imagine
in high
that?
school.
A guidance
be
counselor.
fired.
A guidance counselor.
Fired.
Probably back then they didn't really
know better, but you still don't say things like that.
You just
you don't.
Affects them.
No.
Nowadays, that wouldn't happen nowadays, you would hope. But back then it did. That was the point. Now if you're neurodivergent, it's okay. Like, there's so many resources, but for some reason, therapy is not one of them.
Now, you said something else about the spectrum. Explain a little bit about what the spectrum is, if you can.
The autism spectrum.
Okay.
There's different. I recently found out that I was on the spectrum. I actually never knew that growing up. And at first, I was a little confused.
Yeah,
sure.
But then it made sense, and I was like, okay, that explains a lot.
I mean, that can be really helpful. It can be overwhelming, but it can be really helpful when you feel like, oh, that explains so much.
Like, oh, that's why I flipped out the way I did when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I had a situation where I was justified in this. and my parent even got involved, but I was made so angry in school when I was in, I think it was 5th grade. I threw a desk across the room.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Strength.
Wow.
And that was part of that whole
Yes.
neurodivergency. I was get into this rage and I didn't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you're a kid, you're scared too.
Mhm.
Like I'm this, like, how old are you in 5th grade? I mean,
Like
mine's
10.
so you're 10.
About 10.
10. A 10-year-old girl who just threw a desk across the room at a teacher.
Right. Clearly a lot is going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot that you don't know what's going on there too. And
So it explained a lot. But the problem that I've noticed, being around the field as well, not a lot of therapists are certified or want to be certified for that. And it's hard, it's hard because I get it's hard on everybody in that situation. Because like we were talking about the spectrum, there's high functioning,
Yes.
which is me. And then there's somebody that really might need more help.
yeah.
And again, it's not because they're dumb. They're not
No
dumb.
such thing.
They
Right.
learn differently.
Yes. Yes.
So-
They're human
True.
beings that learn differently.
True.
And if I may interject, I mean, quite the polar opposite from being dumb. A majority of people in the neurodivergent category are super intelligent. They have these great gifts. And so,
100%.
Aside from the suffering, it's, imagine the kind of perseverance to be constantly told, oh, you're lazy. Oh, you're stupid.
Yeah.
And it's so unfair.
It really is unfair.
If I'm
I laugh because I heard it all.
Oh, you must have. Yeah. It's like somebody who's severely myopic, they need glasses, being told like, you're lazy, like just use your eye muscles, I mean,
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Use your eye muscles.
To circle back on the insurance thing, which doesn't sound like it's that much better today. I would say about 10 to 15 years ago, I was also looking for a child therapist. Impossible to find. I think I had to, there was no one near me within at least 60-mile radius. And I had to travel into New York to do it. That was the closest, although I'm not sure which would have been easier, driving in New Jersey to that place, because just traveling to the New York office was the same amount of time, but with 3 trains and all the way uptown. And then what if you don't like them or they suck?
right.
Yes.
So you wasted all this time. So back then it was really, really hard. And then, but now fast forward 10 or 15 years later, the fact that you still had a hard time finding a therapist is ridiculous.
It is.
Also, a lot of private practices now do not take insurance. They don't even take it. So they're
Wow.
charging these insane rates. I mean, there are awesome therapists out there that do pro bono work.
Mm.
Yes.
And so I want to give those therapists props because they're, it's amazing when they do things like that.
Yeah.
I know for a fact there are, because I'm around the business, and those therapists, all therapists are good. Like all therapists, they're doing good. They want to do good. They want to help people. But
Right.
I feel like for people like me, who for so long was a single mom I was out of therapy for 2 years. I couldn't pay over $100 a session, and I couldn't find anyone to help me out.
Right.
Didn't
Wow.
even pay like a smaller fee, like maybe like 50 or something.
To scale. Yeah. Like on a scale.
Yeah, I couldn't even find a sliding scale. I mean, and I do know therapists that do sliding scales.
That's
So
incredible
that stuff
they don't
exists.
have that.
There are therapists out there that will work with people. It's just not a lot of therapists.
It's hard
that
to
are
Isn't
out
it
there.
sad that we have to rely on individuals who are saying, oh, I care enough that I'm going to do
this for
pro
you.
bono or
Yeah.
something skill work? Like, why don't we prioritize that as a society?
Knowing that it's
taking
such
care
a
of each other.
big part of everything that's going on in this world today.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at,
Yeah.
I'm just not even comparing, what you're going through right now, Penina, and just saying like people that are walking down the street and somebody, like they say homeless or whatever, they have mental issues.
Yes.
They'll throw bottles at you or punch you in the face. That's mental issues.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
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 And isn't there some kind of society or something that's supposed to help?
Yes.
You would think.
Where's all of this?
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's hard to
No.
find where.
No, and when
Or is it Namia?
my daughter has really, really good insurance now.
Yeah.
And but there was a point where she was on the state insurance.
Okay.
Nobody covered her as far as therapy went. Finding her a pediatrician is fine.
Yeah.
All that's fine. Nobody took state insurance.
Now, see, that's interesting, too, because you think, is it just because you're talking about finding a pediatrician, you know, talking about medicine and a general practitioner, you know, is it, and I don't know the answer to this, but is it because, well, that's something we can understand.
Right.
You know, you have a cold, you have a broken bone, like this is very tangible. When we get into issues of mental well-being, you know, we get into this gray area of, you know, well, can you just, you know, be better? Can you just have a better attitude?
Yeah.
You know?
No. Yeah.
Doesn't really work.
No.
Yeah, and, you know, it's because they can't physically see it.
I think that's a big part, right? It's intangible.
Yeah.
Because I know, and I'm not sure what it's called, so I do apologize, but I do know that there is some sort of illness where fibromyalgia. It's like your nerves. Your nerves are on fire.
Fibromyalgia. Yeah.
Yeah, and people, you can't see it, but you're in agony, you know?
Yeah.
And I know somebody with it, and they're like, nobody believes me because they can't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that
and she's clearly visibly in pain, you know?
Wow.
And that's so huge too, when you feel like you don't have a community, when you feel like you're not seen or heard. That's a horrible feeling. Like I'm wondering, what have you been able to do to feel like you're not alone?
Well, it's for the longest time I was.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. I mean, I have, as I've gotten older, I surround myself with very supportive people. My fiance is the most supportive person in my life.
God bless him.
And then, of course, I've got my amazing friends.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
That's important too, because there was a point where the only reason I say I was alone is because I chose to be.
Okay.
I didn't want to.
Okay, I was going to ask that
I felt
too.
like I was going to burden people.
You were burdening your friends and stuff. Yeah. Oh, I see.
And that's a really hard position to be in.
Yeah, that too.
Most definitely. I just want to say,
they get mad when you tell them that, but it doesn't make it any.
It doesn't go away,
right?
Right.
You know,
and then, you get ashamed. There's that shame feeling of, I have to admit that, there's something wrong. I have to I have to tell them this horrible, you feel like it's a horrible thing.
Right.
Right.
Because you're sad all the time and you get these panic attacks that are insane, and you can't go to certain places, and, eventually the friends that can't handle it, you don't have anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I have very severe social anxiety.
That's something where
and
people
COVID
can grow
killed
at too.
me. COVID took all the progress I made and just wiped it away when we had to
time. But I want to say this. I don't mean to cut you off, but especially people that are watching this show right now, and if you have, and I just want to put this out there, but Penina, I just want to say also that, you're very brave and we thank you for coming on. But if you're watching this podcast and you have this kind of expertise, can you please find it within your heart to comment and maybe, send something to us where somebody can use your skills.
Yes.
Your therapist.
Be happy
whatever
to
it is,
post that
comment and let us know how you can help, because this is a big issue.
Yes.
Very big issue.
Really, really big issue.
Yeah, right. I was looking up earlier, and they said 19.86% of adults are experiencing a mental illness, which is equivalent to nearly 50 million Americans.
That's big.
Wow.
That's crazy
I'm
amount of
surprised
people.
it's not an even higher percentage, honestly.
No,
Maybe.
And what I feel bad about really quick too is men, because mental health is real with men, and it's okay for mental health to be real with men.
Mm-hmm.
But there's such a stigma on men that they have to be this type of way.
Oh, right.
Mhm.
Like the manly man.
They're afraid to get it. They're afraid they feel lesser.
Right.
It's like a macho thing,
it's a weakness.
and it's society's fault.
It's a
100%.
human thing.
Yeah, we're all human beings,
all
men
human
and
beings,
women,
and
and
we
mental
got
health
this.
impossible.
Yes.
Is important
Yes.
for
Yes,
everyone.
it is. Yes, it is. So, Penina, I just want to thank you for being a guest today.
Yeah. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Hopefully,
Thank you.
we will keep some kind of way to find out, if anyone, writes in or something, we'll definitely pass the word.
Yeah, we'll pass it on.
Well, I have luckily been back to my therapist. I have insurance again, so
Good for you.
Oh, good.
That's a
luckily
good
I'm
thing.
back with my therapist, so
Okay.
I'm good. I'm in a good place at the minute.
Good for
All
you.
right.
I'm in a
happy
good
to hear
place.
that.
All righty.
Way to
Thanks
go.
again for being part of the show, babes.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Yes,
having
all right.
me.
Thank you,
Okay.
Penina.
Thanks so much.
Okay. So up next,
Who do we got next?
we have Lorna Whitmore. Am I
AKA Lonnie
pronouncing
Jones.
her name
Whittemore.
correctly? Whittemore.
Lonnie Jones.
Lorna is from Westchester County, New York. Stop with the accent. She's a vocal coach, an audition prep acting coach, a workshop leader of vocal improv, and a pet sitter extraordinaire.
Extraordinaire.
Improv is Adam. I guess you must know Adam then, Lord.
NC.
And me.
And Cece.
Oh,
I'm
no.
really going to have to take control now. Oh, boy.
Dawn thinks she's in the position of power right now.
Yes, she is. Go for it, Dawn. Bring it.
Lorna, come on in, sis.
Hi.
Hi, Lorna.
Hi, Lonnie Jones.
Hello, Lorna.
Hello. Hi, guys.
Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Welcome to the show, Lorna.
Thank you, guys. So I just have to say that podcasts are my jam. I love them so much.
Yes.
And I'm so excited to see Adam and C and to meet you, Dawn.
Thank you. I was
And,
going to say, don't you dare leave me out, Lorna.
She knew better. She did not leave you out.
Nice to meet you, Lorna.
I do want to comment on the previous caller. I have so many things to say, and I don't know which highway of...
Start with the first one.
Okay, thanks, Ad. When you and Dawn, you were commenting on those on the street, like homeless, and those that are not getting help. The whole system is so. Can I swear on
Yes,
the
you
podcast?
can.
Swear like
Say whatever
a
you want.
It is so fucked up
Yes,
that
ma'am.
let's say you see there's a schizophrenic who's doing crack on 52nd Street and 10th Ave, and you throw him in a hospital. He's going to get, pumped up with meds, and then maybe he gets to go to a clinic where the therapists there are overworked, underpaid, and can only see him for 15 minutes.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what he's got.
Yes.
That's all he's got,
Wow.
which is just horrendous. So, if I could redo the whole system in my heart, I would ask every therapist from, the bougiest to the clinic that look at the pizza pie, and there has got to be, a certain percentage, no matter what, that if it's 5 clients, one pro bono, one sliding scale,
Come on.
Yeah.
Yes.
and then the world slowly could get maybe more even. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, or
That's one
even,
of my
the
ideas.
government can subsidize, the government subsidizes plenty of things. Why is the government not subsidizing mental health?
Definitely
Totally.
a good question.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about what's going on in your life right now, Lauren.
Okay, cool. So let's see, we're in 2024.
Yes.
Since 2017, a big change happened for me. I'd sort of come out of being diagnosed, depression, anxiety, then bipolar 2, obsessive thinking, all these diagnoses, a lot of medication, and feeling like in 2015, I really thought my life was over. I really thought all my dreams of singing and acting and my family, everything. And I was just over medicated, really heavy. And my everything was the worse it was. And I did a lot of praying, I did a lot of writing, and I basically just was determined to find my spark, my soul. And I just started teaching. I found a job at School of Rock and became pretty soon a head vocal coach there. And it was
my God,
through
you must be so
teaching.
great. I have to just interject. You must be so great at that, Lauren.
I bet.
Oh, thank. It's funny, and there's a lot of other, and then this is really funny. Then I was I'm going to work at a theater. I'm going to be a theater teacher at a private school, and I found this school. They were like, if you can teach 8 8th grade boys on the emotional and spectrum of neurodivergent.
Mm-hmm.
U.S. history will let you do like an after-school theater group.
Oh my God!
So
Wow.
Now, Adam and C might remember that I was like the worst student like ever. ADHD, executive functioning. I never did my homework. I failed U.S. history, geometry.
You failed U.S. history too?
Oh yeah.
And that was the one class. The
I don't
one
know how
class
I
I
graduated
couldn't.
high school. Bruce did our theater teacher wrote my English paper.
Yeah.
Emily did our friend Emily did my geometry test.
Wow.
Now, you don't want them to take your diploma away.
What's up?
You'd want them to take your diploma away.
Quit revealing your sources. They might WHS might come after you.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, what's my point? Oh, so I taught U.S. history, which is hysterical. And so what I did was I put them in a circle and we just debated, and I had them sing and do like SNL skits about like prohibition. I don't know. It was hysterical.
That is
That
so.
sounds
Maybe
wonderful though.
It
How did
does.
the kids like it?
Gets them active too, you know?
They loved it, and
Of course they
the
did.
greatest. Thank you. It was probably I wish there was a fly on the wall, but the parents. I'll never forget my parent-teacher conference. They were like, "My kid likes to go to school because of you." I'm like,
That's
"Okay."
awesome.
That's wonderful.
It's a cheer.
That is a cheer.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
Wonderful.
Plus, guess what? You learned U.S. history.
Exactly. See, I finally got it.
Because I never did.
Yeah, I gave the kids all the tests like a week before. I'm like, now you study the test, so you all get an A.
Love it.
That's awesome.
Oh, wow.
But so really, the story of the beginning of my healing and my awareness of all that is possible was through teaching every day. I was reminded of who I am.
Wow.
That's great.
Wow.
Yeah. And I slowly got off all the medication.
Oh boy.
And slowly sort of taught myself DBT modules, which is dialectical behavioral therapy. Adam knows, but I don't know if Dawn and C, if you're familiar with that.
I'm not familiar with that.
A very powerful mode of therapy started by a woman in the 1990s.
Yes, that Marsha Linehan. So basically, you guys, it's through tactile, like doing. Basically, move a muscle, then things change rather than thinking your way out of the box.
Right.
But meditation, changing the diet, adding some supplements, like everything that I always believed in and always knew, but was so bogged down. But I was, I knew that. And this sounds like, I don't know if it's egotistical or, good, but I knew that my life had like a lot of purpose, and I wasn't
absolutely.
Oh yeah, you were definitely not being able to live your best self.
What's very inspirational in all of that, Lorna, is that even with all of these challenges, you continued to take action, and I loved what you said about, not just teaching, but teaching every day.
Yeah.
And you said it before too, Dawn.
Yeah.
There's this element of every day.
Momentum,
it's that,
action,
momentum, action.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think with anything that you, now I know, like small things every day is what your life becomes.
Yes.
Yep.
And it sounds so simple, right? But like if I were to, whatever your brain is on or whatever your heart's on, whatever you're looking at, that's your life. So,
Wow.
I guess I also wanted to just share that I recognize something. This is like a very personal thing, but it's also a society thing. During COVID, I was watching so many different shows, and I was like, I don't know, it was all coming together that I really do come from a whole narcissistic family. Like they're addicts and narcissists, but like the most incredibly intelligent, like interesting artists, but they weren't parents, and they weren't interested or couldn't take accountability to shift to be parents. And once I recognized like radical acceptance around that, I was like, oh, my situation could be trauma. And every person who's been diagnosed with any of those diagnoses is, it's trauma. So I really did a lot of work around trying to understand that. And Adam, again, I'm going to ask you, do you know the book, The Body Keeps the Score?
Oh, yes. Yeah. My wife, who's a clinical psychotherapist, she has a copy of that book right next to her in bed. Yeah. So I've been looking at that book for years.
You guys, it's an
Not
incredible, beautiful, like big book. Basically, just like the idea that everything, it's all there like a computer, like it's your memory of everything. Everything will be repeated basically in your life until you keep reintroducing new things, because it's keeping score, and it only knows what it knows.
Right.
So,
That's right. That's right.
yeah.
Wow.
That was right.
Yeah.
Also, it's another thing, which is a little bit off topic, but parents or people that have never had children, it's different dynamics dealing with those people versus people who have had parents.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
like in many spaces, mental work, wherever. It's like, they can't deal with, sometimes they just don't understand what you're dealing with, and
Exactly.
they have no idea why you do what you
Yeah.
do, or they're just like, there they are again, absent, or whatever it is.
Right.
Just like, but I can see with also having those people not being able to be parents too. It's like that's the same concept.
Yes,
as
it is.
not being a
Yes, it
parent.
is.
So I don't know. You're that was really insightful.
Very much so.
Yeah, thank you so
Yeah.
much for
Creative. Learned a lot.
definitely.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Kudos to you too, Lorna.
I really did.
And we really appreciate you sharing and being so open and honest. But
Yeah,
also,
absolutely.
I just want to applaud the fact that you continue to persevere. Listening to you talk about this, not once. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I didn't hear Lorna once say, "Oh, poor me."
No,
It was just
no,
about, okay, this
no.
is the situation.
Persevering.
What can I do? What can I do?
Yeah.
Almost like a scientist, Lorna.
Yes.
Like you're getting all this data. Okay, what meaning can I make out of it? How can I see this differently? How can I? Yeah. So that's kudos to you.
Yes, kudos.
Yes, kudos to you. And thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for being here with us, Lorna. But I just want to mention that you said that your wife kept a book near her in bed.
Yeah.
Where the hell you sleep? Boom! I was like,
topic
who
for-
didn't wait for that one?
Don got
I
one.
couldn't wait. I
Don
got
got
to get at him. His wife has the book, but he ain't where you sleep. I hope you enjoyed this episode, because I know I did. On
Yes.
mental health.
I
learned a lot.
And if I could, I know
Yeah.
we're running a little late, but
Yeah.
there's one quote that I want to just squeeze out.
Squeeze Adam.
Give you
Squeeze
something
Adam.
to think about. Let percolate until the next episode.
Sure.
So this comes from Viktor Frankl, or at least the quote is attributed to Viktor Frankl. I'm pretty sure it's him. But here's the quote. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. It's a big one. You can
That
think
is a
about
big
that.
one. We'll have to digest that one.
Yes, it is.
So the stimulant that we're talking about
is for express. What's it?
Stimulant, yeah.
yes, the quad espresso. Now there's a space between what you just drank and the next.
The response is...
And the next episode.
Tell us about the next episode.
This episode is being confident with sex. In the bullshit dating scene.
Expected. That was a good one.
That's gonna be a hot, saucy topic.
It's gonna be hot, baby. Love to love you, baby.
Love to love you, baby. I love
See you
to
next
love
time on Day to Day Bullshit.
Bye.
Love you, baby.